Welcome to Holtonsfixit101. Now today we are going to be talking about evolution tools. More importantly, we are going to be talking about this thing here, which is the Evolution Mitresaw stand. Now we're also going to be talking about, more importantly, this here, which is the latest and greatest Mitresaw from Evolution. Welcome back. Now on the bench here I have the Mitresaw stand, and you can see all the livery that it has on the front, and as you can see it comes in a very large box, and the box is very well packaged inside. I have opened this before to see whether it's you know, everything's there and everything else, but it comes in a big box like this, and it is quite heavy a box, so please be aware that when you buy one of these that heavy lifting will be involved. I've left it in the box like this so you people out there can actually see what it's actually packaged like when you actually open it for the first time. And what you get in the box is you get all of this lovely packaging, and it is all packaged very well. I haven't put this together yet or anything like that, so when I do, there will be a video available online so you can actually see the full stand in action. But that is not what we're going to be talking about too much today. I'm going to do the initial findings on the saw itself, because that is their latest and greatest saw that they've just come out with, and that's what we'll be talking about. Right, on the bench here, as you can see, I have the saw that comes in their packaging and everything else. Now I have had this out to obviously make sure that it's okay and all that sort of stuff. It does come in very small, which I was quite surprised at. It comes in a very small packaging, and you know, I open it up and you can see why. I have had some of the packaging out, but it is packaged very well in there. As I put some of the packaging back in, but as you can see from inside there how well the saw is actually packaging. Some of the packaging I removed, but I will go over the initial findings of this today, and we'll be able to look at some of the things that I found straight away with the saw just coming straight out of the box. And there is some issues that I found, but there's nothing that can't be corrected. But as I can see straight away, the saw is very top dollar. It is very good. When you got it out of the box, this is initially what you find. Your saw is tilted at a very angle, so it makes the box obviously smaller, so they can make a smaller box. It has all the usual bells and whistles that come along with it. This slides along here, and which I found was a very good idea, because you can have it extended out for longer materials. It comes with a clamp that goes in the back here, or it can go into there, and it has this little hook on there to hold down. The metal of that is probably a little bit, you know, iffy if you really want to screw it down and really clamp it, but you only want to hold something. You're not clamping it there, you know, murder tight or whatever. The initial, what I found here, you've got a little tiny screw down in here as well. You undo, and that allows the saw to go round, and it has all the positive stops there for different angles that you want to have. Now I will get you a close-up of all of this, so just, you know, but this all comes in that box, and I found to be very, very, very good. So, right, as you can see, if I get you a better close-up of the saw itself, there are several points that you actually note when you first got it out of the box. There's all the things for safety. You cannot put the saw back down unless you push this. There's a great big switch on the back, so you just give that a good squeeze and it will switch the saw on. To allow the saw to tilt back up, because I've got it in the downward position at the moment because it's just come out of the box, there is a switch on the back here, or a slide on the back here. You pull that out, that is there, and that has got a very, very nice, they machined that to fit in there very, very well. I've had Mitre saws before and that's never been machined very well. They really have done a very, very good job there. So you pull that out and that allows the saw then to travel up. And as you can see, this here is locked in position now, so you can't touch the blade. The only way you'll be able to touch the blade is to push that lever on the front that allows that to go back up. And as you can see, there's a very, very nice carbide tipped blade in there, which is, I don't have the specifications on that, but it is a very, very nice blade, and I've looked online for just the blade alone. It's you're looking at 35, 20 to 35 pounds just for the blade alone, and you get one in the saw. So the tilt mechanism, if you want to tilt it over, there's a lever on the back here. You undo that and it allows the saw to tip over. Now, unfortunately, because of the price point of this saw, we're looking at 60 to 80 pounds for the actual saw. That's British pounds for the actual saw itself. So for the price point, you wouldn't expect it to have a double bevel facility. This is just a single bevel facility, but it is very much upright. I have tested it against the blade. This is initially coming out of the box. I've not adjusted it or anyway in any situation, but it is. I've locked it into 0 degrees because it has a degree meter on the front here, as you can see, and it does have all the different stops for all the different degrees. If you just pull that round, it does lock in. That's 15 degrees, as you can see there, and it is positively locked there with a lock underneath, so you can just lock it into different angles that you want to. It is compound mitre saw as well, so you can tip that over and do the angle that way, so it gives you a compound angle, and it does come with all the usual safety things and everything else. What I have found though is that when the blade comes down, I've put a square in here against the base of the saw. The saw is very much upright, but when I've put the blade, or left the blade down, and I've put it up against the fence, it is slightly out, and there is adjustment screws on the back of the saw here. There is adjustment screws here, and there's one there to allow this piece of metal here to be adjusted against whatever you need. It is slightly out, but that is something that can't be rectified by yourself. Now, don't expect to get the saw out and expect it to be exactly right, because that will not happen. You must adjust it so it will cut right. Don't expect it to have nice square cuts straight out the box. There is a list of different stuff on the top here for the motor. As you can see, this is the R210CMS, and it is a 210 multi-purpose compound mitre saw. and it does give you several warnings about different things, and it tells you the RPM of the motor in things like that. And it's the actual wattage of the motor, for anyone who's interested, is a 1200 watt motor. So they're giving you a 1200 watt motor in here. It's not brushless, it does have brushes, but the good thing about this, the evolutions put into this saw, is the fact that it does have little caps on here. There is one there, and there's also one on the back of the saw there. So if at any time you want to renew the brushes, you can renew them and carry on with the saw. Yeah, I dare say that if you was to give Evolution a ring, or give them a an email or something like that, they would have gladly put through, give you or send you some more brushes for the actual motor. So there's no problem there, you can renew those. But like I say, initial findings on the saw of what I've found so far, there are a few things that is little tiny niggly things, but nothing that is too major. The only thing that I found, which is not a big deal, is the fact that my shop vac doesn't fit the dust port on the back. They do provide you with a very, very nice, and I have it here, a very, very nice dust bag that's there. And this dust bag just got clips on, it just clips on like that. And there is a lip on there to stop that from blowing off. But personally myself, I like to use my shop vac to take all away all the rubbish and debris. But my shop vac doesn't fit in here. Now, I haven't seen what size this actually is, but I would have to make a transition for myself, or shim this out in some way so my shop vac actually fits in there. I've tried different pipes and stuff like that that have different sizes, and they don't fit either. But that's just my personal, a thing that I've got with the saw, that it's just me, that I like to have a shop vac connected to it. Now, the cord itself, they've given you a nice molded plug on the end, which is the legal requirement these days, and it's all fused and everything else. The cord, now the cord is plenty long enough, as you can see. There's probably a good 1.5, nearly 2 meters there in cord. The cord, for me, the cord is not long enough. I like to have nice long cords on all my tools. All my tools around my shop here are quite long, for the reason being I like to have it plugged in way over there somewhere, and I've got plenty of cord to get round of what I'm using. But this is more a static machine. You bring the material to the machine rather than taking the machine to the material. It's not like a sander or something like that. You would use the machine on the piece of wood or whatever. This is more of a static machine, so having a long cord isn't a big issue, but I would like to have the cord a bit longer. But that's just my opinion. Now, this cord that they have provided is a bit stiff for my liking, but that's just my personal preference again. So, everyone's different. Everyone says, yeah, that's fine for me, and all the rest of it. But for me personally, I probably would change this out and put a new one in, a better cord, which is a bit less stiff and a bit longer. But again, that's just me. Right, the fence, as you can see down here, I will give you a better close-up of the fence itself. You get this nice aluminum fence here, and I think it's cast aluminum by the looks of it, but it's machined very, very well, and it's very, very straight. I have actually put a straight edge up against both of these edges, and it is very, very straight. They have machined that extremely well. You do, like I said before, you do have this carriage piece here, that you can slide along, and it does have a groove in there, so you can slide it along for longer items going along there. So you do actually get a much more longer fence to hold your material. But I would always say to have it right out there somewhere if you're going to tilt the saw over to do a compound cut anyway, because you know you get a better, you can hold on to it more better and everything else. And there is a lock pin in behind here that allows you to put that in. On the saw itself, there is a stop down in here. As you can see, there's a stop pin here. Now I don't usually adjust those unless I need to adjust that, and this one is quite is adjusted very well for what it is. When this saw goes down, it hits that lock pin and it stops the saw from going right on down, trying to go through your desk or through your mitre saw stand. So it actually does lock onto there, so you won't need to adjust that. There is, if you ever want to use it for, you know, doing a channel cut or something like that, then I would say just get a little bit of something in there, so it only comes down to wherever you want to put it. There are saws out there that will allow you just to push a thing across, and it stops the saw from doing. You can actually do channel cuts. So in it, and I'll push that back down again. But there's the saw, my friends. It's very. My initial findings are very good of the saw. There are, like I say, a few niggly bits that I would recommend that would be an improvement, but the price point of this saw and everything else for what they've got, very good. There's the clamp. There's a close-up of the clamp, and you can see that the metal on there is shaped in such a way that it will hold down whatever you need to hold down. I personally would have made that a little bit thicker, a little bit stronger, but you're only there to hold the material that you're putting in here. So I would say that fair enough, okay. And there is a hole in the back here that allows you to slide that down and lock it in with this thumb screw here to hold the material down if you need to hold that material down. And there's also one on this side that allows you to do the same. But it does actually stay on here, and I would always recommend that if you're a lefty, then I'm sorry, but you know, holding it this side is not a good idea, because you've got the motor coming out that will actually trap your hand. So if you're a right-handed person, then happy days, then you can hold on to here, or you can hold the material down as well if you need to. So that's the Evolution CM210 RMS saw, CMS saw. So my initial findings are really positive about it. The only other thing I would say that I don't like is the fact that they got this wide channel in here for where the blade actually goes down through. I would like to have a zero clearance insert, but I understand why they've done that, because when the actual saw is tilted over, then the saw needs clearance in here to actually get it down when you're in a compound or in its situation. I can understand that, but this plastic piece here actually comes out and it can be replaced. Now I would like them to say, look, you know, as if you're only doing straight cuts, then we will give you another plastic piece to actually put in there so you can get a zero clearance. But on saying that, there's nothing stopping anyone from making a zero clearance insert for only doing straight cuts. You know, there's no reason why no one can do that. If they got the intuitive, you know, to do it, then I would say that they can do it. You know, I certainly probably will be doing that, making a zero clearance insert for it. and I will also make extra ones, so if I'm tilting the saw over, I can put that on, go through with the saw, and then I have the zero clearance at that compound, so, or angle if you want to put it like that. But it is very good, very good. You know, the handle that I just used on the back here now, the handle that I just used on the back here is a very good and big twist handle here, so you can change it over to the different angles. They've made that nice and chunky, so you can grab hold of it rather than just having this little tiddly knob. So you know you're trying to grab hold of it, and they made that really nice and chunky. They have really done a good job with the saw. Like I say, there are little niggly bits that I don't like about it, which can be rectified. The fence for its start is not you know, it's not square to the actual blade. You know, there's things like that can be rectified. The cord, you know, not long enough for me. You know, it's a bit stiff. But for anyone else who's either a DIYer or wants to cut through some metal, because this will actually cut metal, and it actually shows you on their website that it cuts metal, it cuts through nails. If you're unsure about having a piece of wood that's got nails in it, it does actually show. There is a video on their website, and I will put a link in the description for you, that it actually will, this blade will actually cut through metal as well. So there we go, my friends, the Evolution saw. What can I say? Well, there we are, my friends. The review of the Evolution R210CMS Mitresaw. Now, this is the latest one that they've brought out, and it's on their website. What I can see so far, it is very good. There are a few niggly things that I would like to address on here personally before I start using it, but that's just my own personal preference. I would like to have had a zero clearance insert, and the fence has got to be adjusted so I'd be able to get it square to the actual blade. But straight out the box, you wouldn't expect that to be right, but straight out the box I found it to be very good, and it's packaged extremely well in the box. You'll find that yourself when you have one. It's first initial opening, they've got so much packaging in there that it really is packaged very well. There's not a scratch or a mark on the saw when I open this one, and I am so pleased with the way they've gone about doing that. It does actually come from a British company, where Evolution is a British company, as you can see on there. It has the British flag, and they were established 1992 from the steel city of Sheffield. So, and you're going to guarantee that, you know, being from Sheffield, you know, anyone worth their weight knows that some of the best steel from yesteryear was from Sheffield. So there we go. I will put links in the description down below for Evolution tools, and they do have their own YouTube channel which displays all of their tools basically that they have, on how they work and all this sort of thing. So I will put a link in the description down below for that. We will have some more videos coming up soon. As you can see from the start of the video, I do have the stand, and I will put that together, and we can have a review of the stand, and we will be using the saw to see how good this blade actually performs and how the machine actually performs, cutting through different materials, whether it be a metal or whether it be some wood. I will test them up against some squares and see how well it performs. So there we go, my friends. If you like this video, please click on that like button, and you know where the subscribe button is anyway. If you want to connect with me socially, you can connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, and I'm on Instagram now. So anyone wants to connect with me these. So I will see you again. Bye bye.